Welcome back. This video is to show the wind tunnel build tool. As always, as a level design video, I'm not going to be showing how this works under the hood. So let's look into how this can be used by a designer to build levels. As this gets going, I can't really get a lot of momentum or a lot of speed going against the wind there. And as I go against this one, if I'm not pressing constantly, it's going to knock me off. And it can be hard to get out of that. We will delete one of these and recreate it to show how it's customized and set up. These will be moved, but for now the wind volume is what I will want to add to the level. You can see it looks pretty different. It is blowing along the x-axis, so I want to know which way I want it to go. So I will press either E to select the rotation tool, or you can use the space bar to move between them. And I will rotate this until I see the particles moving in the direction that I want the wind to be going. Now, we just want to keep the base thing highlighted for this. So however wide I want this to be, I will just use the scale tool. That's either R, or you can use the space bar to move between them. And then I will use the scale to move on this axis. This block in the middle is not where the wind will be blowing. This external block is the width of the impulse here. So this block in the center is just to help the designer grab stuff, and that's why it's not shown in the game. So I've got this covering the space I want, but the wind is only in one spot visually. I might be able to set this up to where it automatically will adjust to what you've got with the size of it, but for now you have to do that manually. And under the OGS customize, this wind power is how hard it's blowing against you, but it'll get overwhelming for the player pretty quickly, and you don't want to have it set real high. It can be useful for gameplay elements that are not inhibitors, but they're to make you zoom along, and that can be fun. But generally, for just trying to prohibit the player's movement, 1 or 2 is probably plenty. Now let's update that wind. The rate is how frequently it will blow the player. Gusts per second, default is 20. That's what you were seeing before. I have it set between 1 and 20. And if you have it at once a second, it's just going to be a burst. And that would be something that will kind of like pop at the player. Up to 20, it's going to feel like a constant stream. And then I just added a seconds between gusts. So let's say you want this to be an effect that comes on, turns off, comes on, turns off. I can have a sound at the activation and completion of these, so that it's kind of like a building up and a going down. Trigger that sound only if the seconds between gusts is higher than 1, because then it will know that you are doing this thing as kind of like a puzzle element. Like, you can't overcome these gusts. Set it to 10 like it was a second ago, and every 10 seconds or so it'll have that wind up sound and then blow a gust of wind. I should have a separate trigger for this, and you won't have to know any more than what is displayed here, but it'll either be doing a gust all the time, or it will be like a pulsing kind of thing to make puzzle elements. And I'll have it set up probably by the time this video is live, but it won't be set up now. Default's 1 for this, and default is 20. I'll try to make that cleaner as it goes forward. But that gives us the power setup and the rate setup. And I think for most cases, this 20 is fine unless you're doing that puzzle kind of thing. The lifetime of the wind is really just a visual thing. Coming over to this one real quick, you'll see the lifetime is set to 7, which I made that way too long. So I would try maybe 2. This is how many seconds it's going to last. And you can see that it's not quite getting to the end. It's really just for visuals, maybe 3. And that'll tell the player that this is how far out I have to be worried about this wind. These particles are just like the default thing. The idea is to give them a visual that we can replace with a non-prototyping asset. So this life, I could make shorter, but I kind of liked it here to go out a little farther. Just visual interest, and they won't be here anyway, so it doesn't matter. This width is at 100 by default. So I'll use the Enter key so I keep this highlighted, and I can try out different values. So 500 actually looks pretty close. Let's just go to 600 because it's tapering off on the edge because this is a cylinder. And then the height, 50 will work for any of my puzzles at this scale, like a one-to-one scale, but you can make it as high as you want to. So let's say you've got some kind of level where they're going up a ramp, or you want to affect them at a different height as well, then you can change that. I'll keep that at 50. And the particles, you'll see that is really tight here. As I widened that, it didn't go up. So 400, pretty happy with it. This has been another demonstration for Open Game Studio's Rollball for level designers. And again, I'll go over how I made these and give people insights into using them for their own projects or customizing the functions like I've been brainstorming even in the middle of this video. So there's all kinds of things that people can add, and for developers, I'll have a video of that out soon. Thanks.